Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Bitcoin leads, altcoins consolidate, upside pressure builds. http ntvforex.com News ID 3F89 8 September 18, 1950 GMT. Perhaps ETS just another sign of a maturing market, but we haven't seen a lot of that familiar whipsaw action in crypto lately. Indeed, after months of high volatility, first to the upside, then to the downside, intraday price movements have been more subdued in the past couple weeks. Underneath the surface, however, we see crypto assets establishing a solid base for a potentially explosive rally as we head into the final quarter of 2020. So, that's the context for crypto index performance this week. The NBSPY's 50 Crypto Index W50, the broadest measure of the industry, closed the 7-day trading week ended Thursday, September 17, with a 2.73% gain. As the chart below shows, it was basically a sideways a week. Here's where it gets interesting. Stripping out NBSP Bitcoin, NBSP BTC, tech adoption grade AAA, NBSP reveals a slightly more bearish week for the altcoins. The NBSPY's 50x BTC Crypto Index NBSP W50x NBSP was down 0.57%. The chart below shows a clear bearish bias compared to the W50. This tells us that Bitcoin held down the fort last week, so to speak, and that altcoins were clearly weaker in the past 7 days. Splitting the industry by market capitalization confirms this fact. The NBSPY's Large Cap Crypto Index WLC NBSPA, which is dominated by Bitcoin A, moved up 5.34% on the week. Note also that, despite some ups and downs, this index spent most of the week heading higher. The WISE Mid Cap Crypto Index NBSP WMC NBSP was down 1.49%. Compared to the WLC, the WMC was clearly weaker, as the chart below clearly points downward. Finally, the NBSPY Small Cap Crypto Index WSC NBSP was the weakest of all three, shedding 9.11% for the trading week ended Thursday. Note also how the chart below is the weakest of all the sub-indexes. The takeaway this week is that, while we saw Bitcoin move higher, the altcoins had a hard time following its lead. This is in sharp contrast to the past couple months, when we generally saw the exact opposite. Altcoins were heading higher, while Bitcoin was struggling to catch up. IAVE often noted on these reports how no crypto bull market is sustainable without Bitcoin leading the way, at least in the early stages. As the most recognizable name in the world of crypto, Bitcoin remains the benchmark for outside investor interest in the asset class. And it's only when we see Bitcoin outperform the rest of the markets to the upside that we can say that new money is moving into the crypto space, a necessary prerequisite for a long-term bull market. I hasten to add, though, that what we've seen in this reversal of fortune is a one-off, for now. It will be interesting to see whether Bitcoin can continue to outperform its altcoin progeny over the next few weeks. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Palm Beach Confidential releases new report highlighting Maker, Enjin Coin, and Numeraire. http ntvforex.com News ID 9846B7 September 18, 18:11 GMT. The newest confidential release from Palm Beach includes several coins like Maker, Enjin, and Numeraire. The company has been giving picks to investors for years now. Palm Beach Confidential has been reportedly involved in pump and dump schemes in the past. Palm Beach Confidential is a cryptocurrency service and platform that recommends investors to buy coins with a market cap lower than $1 billion. According to the website, Kyber is widely considered one of the premier crypto analysts in the world and uses a strategy called asymmetric investing, which allows you to turn small sums of money into life-changing gains. Kyber successfully used this strategy to create one of the best cryptocurrency portfolios in the world. Kyber is the Palm Beach Research Group editor, notorious for his sketchy pics in the past. The Palm Beach Confidential service is not free. In fact, it costs $5,000 for a subscription. NBSP. In the latest report released by Taweri, a few quite big cryptocurrencies are mentioned, starting with Maker. Taweri states that MKR was already recommended in March 2019 and expects it to reach $6,600 eventually. NBSP. If you don't own MKR, I suggest you add it to your portfolio today. As always, place no more than $200A400 for smaller accounts and $500A1000 for larger accounts into this trade. And if you already own MKR, consider buying more if appropriate for you to bring your cost basis down. Enjin Coin is highlighted because the video game market is expanding fast and growing from $50 billion to $200 billion in the last 5 years, according to the report. Enjin Coin is token used primarily in video games as it has the ability to represent virtual non-fungible goods. Numeraire was only briefly mentioned, telling investors to hold NMR for now. NBSP. Who is Tika Taweri? Tika Taweri is infamous for his links to pump and dump groups and projects. Plenty of past customers complain about Palm Beach Confidential and Tika, stating that they are scammers. One of the biggest scandals came from a recommendation to buy TNT in May 2019. NBSP. The digital asset was trading as high as $0.1143 on May 12, just before an official announcement from Taweri, and Palm Beach told investors to exit TNT. This post caused TNT to plummet 56% in only one day, going from $0.114 to $0.0498 and experiencing further losses to $0.031 weeks later. What's really interesting is the 69% spike that TNT experienced after Palm Beach announced it as a phenomenon playa on May 7. NBSP. Considering Palm Beach Confidential usually announces long-term picks, Tunta's activity is extremely suspicious. Practically, all investors started to view Palm Beach Confidential a fraud after this event. NBSP. MKR USD daily chart maker is currently trading at $486 while the report states investors can buy it up to $800 without a stop loss. We have recently covered Maker and its price outlook in this article. NBSP ENJ USD daily chart engine is down 38% since its 2020 peak at 25 cents. Bulls have established a possible higher low at $0.159 compared to $0.137 and are now looking to climb above the 12 EMA, acting as a healthy resistance level. If ENJ can rise above $0.178, it will confirm a daily uptrend. The MACD is on the verge of a bull cross as well. NBSP ENJ IMAP chart source into the block. The IMAP chart seems to support this theory as there is a sturdy support level at $0.157 but not a lot of resistance to the upside well until $0.181. On the other hand, if this massive support level were to break, ENJ could easily slip towards the last low at $0.137. NMR USD daily chart. NMR had a colossal 200% spike on August 12 and another one on August 27 following the listing on Coinbase and Binance. Unfortunately, the run was short-lived as the digital asset is already down 55% from its peak, trading at $30.85. The Palm Beach Confidential report only advises investors to hold NMR. NMR IMAP chart source into the block. The NMR price is currently bouncing from the 100 MA and has struggled to climb above the daily 120 EMA several days in a row. The RSI continues slowly declining just like the MACD. However, according to the IMAP chart, there seems to be a strong support area at $28 and almost no resistance to the upside. A bounce from this enormous area of support could push NMR up to $34, but at the same time, a loss of this level will most likely take NMR down to $26.26, the next support cluster. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. VeChain Price Analysis VET looking to retest $0.017 in the short term. http ntvforex.com news ID A536F4 September 18, 17:14 GMT. VET is currently trading at $0.0147 after a notable bounce from its low in September at 1 cent. VET price is facing some resistance in the form of the 12 EMA at $0.0148. VeChain had a steep correction after its peak on August 7, and ETA is still down 36% since then. Bulls are looking for a clear breakout while bears are waiting to continue with the robust downtrend formed. VET $3 day chart. On the 3-day chart, the TD sequential indicator created a strong buy signal on September 9, which has been confirmed now after 2 consecutive green candlesticks. The 12 EMA resistance level is right around the current price, and the MACD looks to be on the path of a bullish cross. VET IMAP chart source into the block. Furthermore, looking at the IMAP chart, we can notice that there is very little resistance between $0.014 and $0.017. However, above this last level, there is a massive resistance cluster. NBSP VET USD daily chart. VET's daily chart is looking more bullish now that the price established a higher low and a higher high. The MACD also turned bullish, but the 100 MA is acting as a strong resistance level. NBSP VET new addresses source into the block. Unfortunately, even if the bulls can push VET towards $0.017, the colossal resistance cluster at that level will most likely push it back down. However, the interest in VET seems to be fading away as the number of new addresses has been declining since July. Similarly, the number of transactions is also down. NBSP the most critical resistance level remains at $0.017, while support is at 1 cent. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Bitcoin Weekly Forecast. BTC Crystal Ball gives bulls a faint flicker of hope. http ntvforex.com news ID C067CB September 18, 16:17 GMT. The short-term technical signals imply that BTC is ripe for downside correction. Strong support will prevent the price from a free fall. The longer-term risks are tilted to the downside. Bitcoin staged a healthy recovery this week. The pioneer digital currency price took off from the support area of $10,000 and touched the next psychological line of $11,000. At the time of writing, BTC USD is changing hands at $10,940, mostly unchanged in the last 2 days. Bears are ready to snatch the initiative from the technical point of view. The strong resistance comes at $11,300. This barrier served as strong support for BTC in August and flipped into resistance after a sharp sell-off in September's first week. Notably, this line is also reinforced by the daily SMA 50. However, the bullish interest petered out on approach to the psychological barrier of $11,000, meaning that the market is gripped by indecision at this stage. 2 doji candles following a steep growth on a daily chart confirm the high level of uncertainty and imply that bears may be ready to snatch back the initiative if bulls stay hesitant and fail to pass the resistance area of $11,000 $11,300 anytime soon. NBSP. Meanwhile, the TD index on daily and 12-hour charts send sell signals, worsening the short-term technical picture. This setup, combined with the strong resistance ahead, implies that BTC price is at risk to retreat to $10,500 or even $10,000 before bulls decide on a recovery attempt. NBSP BTC USD daily chart. A closer look at the market positioning reveals that the biggest wall of supply comes at $11,600 $11,900. 1 million addresses with over 700k BTC have their break-even point within that area. However, there are also smaller, but still significant barriers on approach to $11,300 and $11,600, meaning that BTC bulls will need some right motivation and persistence to plow through. NBSP not so fast, please. On the other hand, we have two significant clusters of BTC addresses with 760K and 770K BTC, with the break-even in the range from $10,900 all the way down to $10,200, making the way to the south even harder than the potential recovery. NBSP Bitcoin's market positioning data source into the block. A deeper dive into the on-chain metrics reveals that Bitcoin bulls may be less inclined to sell, as BTC's net flows to the cryptocurrency exchange accounts are in the negative territory. It means that the market is entering an accumulation phase as people continue taking their coins from the hot wallets to the cold wallets. Bitcoin net inflows to the exchanges peaked on September 15 and started falling, moving in sync with the price recovery. If this trend persists, we may see an increased buying pressure as sellers are leaving the market. NBSP Bitcoin's net flows to the cryptocurrency exchanges source into the block. Another reason to be cautious with the outright bearish forecasts is Bitcoin's holders distribution data. According to Sentiment's statistics, one whale with at least 10,000 coins in their wallet has entered the network, while the number of wallets with over 1,000 has been trending higher in the last 3 months. The behavior of large Bitcoin investors tends to have a massive impact on price momentum. If the number of whales continues moving higher, the BTC price is likely to follow the trend. Bitcoin's holders distribution source Sentiment. Let us zoom out to the weekly chart, where BTC USD has created a big green candle after a doji candle of the previous week. The middle line of the weekly Bollinger Band at $10,000 serves as local support, reinforced by the lower line of the consolidation channel that dominated the market since the beginning of September. The prices tested this Bollinger Band line twice, and each time they reversed to the upside, meaning that bears may be intimidated by this area. However, once it is broken, $8,800 may come into focus. This barrier is created by the weekly SMA 50 that limited the sell-off since the beginning of May. BTC USD weekly chart. To conclude, the current technical and on-chain setup implies that BTC may continue moving inside the broad range limited by $11,000 and $10,000. Several technical indicators send bearish signals, but significant support created by market orders may slow down the bears and trigger another recovery attempt. A sustainable move below $10,000 will worsen the immediate technical picture and bring more sellers to the market, with the long-term target at $8,800. NBSP on the other hand, $11,000 needs to be taken out for the recovery to gain traction. However, the bulls will have to make their way through a thick layer of barriers until $11,900, $12,000. Once they manage to break free, the upside momentum may start snowballing. The decreasing cryptocurrency exchange deposits and the slowly growing number of whales imply that BTC chances are tilted to the upside from the long-term perspective. The forecast poll has improved marginally since the previous week as expectations on all but weekly time frames remained bearish. Now the experts believe that the risks are tilted to the downside both in the short run and in the long period. However, the price expectations on a monthly time frame moved above $11,000. It means that no one expects a sustainable Bitcoin price increase. According to the median price forecast, the first digital coin will stay range-bound around the current levels. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Maker Price Analysis. MKR whales could be getting ready to dump again at $470. http ntvforex.com. News ID 97C03E September 18, 16, 4 GMT. MKR is currently trading at $492 after a notable spike and rejection from $556. The daily downtrend is still intact, and a recent inflow of tokens to exchanges is worrying investors. Maker has been one of the most affected coins after the last crypto crash, losing around 50% of its value in practically 1 month. MKR is currently ranked 37th with a market capitalization of $500 million. MKR USD daily chart. There is a massive downtrend formed by MKR on the daily chart. Bulls tried to break out on September 17 after a notable spike towards $556 from a low of $468. However, the price got quickly rejected, dropping to $500 within minutes. MKR has formed a resistance level at around $560, and ETA is also facing the 12 EMA at $510 as resistance. MKR holders distribution source sentiment. The most notable development for MKR is a spike in exchange inflow registered on Glassnode. This doesn't necessarily mean a sell-off is close to be. However, a significant decline in whales further strengthens the theory that MKR faces a lot of selling pressure. Whales holding at least 10,000 coins dropped from 16 to 10. Similarly, whales with at least 1,000 coins dropped from 82 to 76. MKR 4 US dollars hour chart. Not everything is lost for MKR bulls, as the 4-hour chart is slowly changing in favor of them. The price has established several higher lows and the MACD flipped bullish hours ago. NBSP MKR IMAP chart. Source into the block. According to the IMAP chart, MKR has a ton of support at $468, which means that a bearish breakout of this level would be notable. On the flip side, if the bulls can defend this price and bounce back up, resistance levels are significantly smaller than support. Investors need to look out for the $468 support and $510 resistance levels. Any breakout below or above this range will be crucial for the short-term future of MKR. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Bitcoin BTC price analysis. Considering chances of bulls to fix above $11,000 in short term. http ntvforex.com. News ID 73113C September 18, 15:23 GMT. How much time do bulls need to get Bitcoin BTC to $11,500? Cover image via www.tradingview.com. Bulls are back in NBSP the game, as most of the cryptocurrencies are again under NBSP bullish influence. Mainly, all top 10 coins are located in the green zone. Top 10 coins by CoinStats. The sharp rise of the altcoins has affected the dominance rate of Bitcoin BTC, which has declined and is now at 54.3%. TKS market share. The relevant Bitcoin data today. Name Bitcoin ticker BTC. Market cap NBSP $202,975,758,055. Price NBSP $10,975.67. Volume 24H NBSP $27,311,423,903. Change 24H 1.01%. The data is relevant at NBSP press time. BTC USD can bears withstand and get Bitcoin back to $10,500. Yesterday, in the morning, the NBSP price of Bitcoin BTC continued to decline. Sellers managed to pierce the daily EMA 55, setting a local minimum of around $10,740. BTC USD chart by TradingView. In the afternoon, the pair began to slowly recover and, before the end of the day, it was able to return to the area of $10,900. In the morning, trading volumes decreased significantly, and further recovery to the target level of $11,200 NBSP was difficult. If buyers form a bullish momentum today, the pair will break through the level of $11,200, and the daily maximum is possible in the 50% Fibo area, $11,394. At the same time, the overheating of the market, which is seen on the daily time frame, may not allow the bulls to break through to the target level. In that case, sellers will try to return the pair to the support area of $10,500. BTC/USD chart by TradingView. On the hourly chart, Bitcoin BTC is likely to retest the $11,100 level after it has successfully bounced off the local support at $11,750. However, buyers have fewer chances to keep the growth as the volume is low, along with the liquidity. In this regard, the more likely price action is the false breakout of NBSP $11,100 on the NBSP weekend, followed by a NBSP decline below $11,000 next week. BTC/USD chart by TradingView. On the 1-2H time frame, bull's power is coming to an NBSP end as NBSP $11,000 is a strong resistance that is unlikely to be broken for the first time. NBSP. Although NBSP liquidity is high, the trading volume is going down slightly, which means that a short-term decline may occur. Applying the Bollinger Bands indicator to NBSP the chart, one needs to pay attention to the 61.8% level that refers to $10,681. That may be the endpoint NBSP of the correction before a new wave of growth. Bitcoin is trading at $10,984 at press time. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Bitcoin BTC price analysis considering chances of bulls to fix above $11,000 in short term. http ntvforex.com News ID 513E4B September 18, 14:21 GMT. Bulls are back in the game as most of the cryptocurrencies are again under bullish influence. Mainly, all top 10 coins are located in the green zone. The sharp rise of the altcoins has affected the dominance rate of Bitcoin BTC, which has declined and is now at 54.3%. The relevant Bitcoin data today: name Bitcoin ticker BTC, market cap $202,975,758,055, price $10,975.67, volume 24H 27,311,423,903, change 24H 1.01%. The data is relevant at press time. BTC/USD can bears withstand and get Bitcoin back to $10,500 yesterday. In the morning, the price of Bitcoin BTC continued to decline. Sellers managed to pierce the daily EMA 55, setting a local minimum of around $10,740. In the afternoon, the pair began to slowly recover and, before the end of the day, it was able to return to the area of $10,900. In the morning, trading volumes decreased significantly, and further recovery to the target level of $11,200 was difficult. If buyers form a bullish momentum today, the pair will break through the level of $11,200, and the daily maximum is possible in the 50% Fibo area, $11,394. At the same time, the overheating of the market, which is seen on the daily time frame, may not allow the bulls to break through to the target level. In that case, sellers will try to return the pair to the support area of $10,500. On the hourly chart, Bitcoin BTC is likely to retest the $11,100 level after it has successfully bounced off the local support at $11,750. However, buyers have fewer chances to keep the growth as the volume is low, along with the liquidity. In this regard, the more likely price action is the false breakout of $11,100 on the weekend, followed by a decline below $11,000 next week. On the 1-2H time frame, bull's power is coming to an end as $11,000 is a strong resistance that is unlikely to be broken for the first time. Although liquidity is high, the trading volume is going down slightly, which means that a short-term decline may occur. Applying the Bollinger Bands indicator to the chart, one needs to pay attention to the 61.8% level that refers to $10,681. That may be the endpoint of the correction before a new wave of growth. Bitcoin is trading at $10,984 at press time. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Bitcoin and Ethereum prepare for major price movement. http://ntvforex.com News ID CB7A23 September 18, 14:02 GMT. Bitcoin kicked off Thursday, September 17, on the wrong foot. Following the 1.61% bullish impulse seen during the previous trading session, investors seem to have enjoyed the upward price action to realize some profits. As a result, the increase in selling pressure behind BTC was visible throughout the first half of the day. NBSP, the pioneer cryptocurrency, opened at a high of $10,957.06 and immediately began trending downwards. By 13:00 UTC, prices had dropped more than 2% to an intraday low of $10,745.55. Such a critical support level was able to hold, containing falling prices at bay. NBSP, the rejection from this hurdle allowed Bitcoin to rebound and recover nearly all the losses incurred throughout the first half of Thursday's trading session. BTC was able to make a high of $10,932.55, just a few dollars below the opening prices. While there are a few hours ahead of before the daily candlestick closes, there is a probability that prices will continue to fall. NBSP on the daily chart, the Tom DeMark TD sequential indicator is printing a sell signal in the form of a green 9 candlestick. The bearish formation estimates a 1 to 4 daily candlesticks correction before the uptrend resumes. If validated, Bitcoin could drop to close the CME gap that sits around $9,600. It is worth noting that turning the $11,100 resistance into support could jeopardize the bearish outlook. Under such circumstances, the bellwether cryptocurrency could rise towards $12,000 or higher. NBSP Ethereum resumes uptrend, aiming for $400. The news about the latest project joining the DeFi craze, Uniswap, combined with the Ethereum Foundation's progress to launch ETH 2.0 seems to have made a huge impact on the smart contracts giant. Indeed, Ether opened Thursday's, September 17, trading session, trading at a low of $364.97, and within only 1 hour it was already up by 5.69%. At 1:00 UTC, prices were hovering at a high of $385.37. NBSP, despite the upward pressure that Ethereum experienced at the beginning of the day, such price action did not spill over the next 17 hours. The second largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization entered a consolidation period where it mostly traded between the $378 support and the $384 resistance level. It was not until 18:00 UTC that the bulls were able to regain control of ETH. NBSP, a spike in demand allowed Ether to surge another 3.34%, turning the $384 resistance into support. Ethereum made an intraday high of $394, outperforming Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market. Although Thursday's trading session has yet to close, it seems like the smart contracts giant has more room to go up. The most significant area of resistance ahead of this altcoin sits between $420 and $440. NBSP key price areas to watch. NBSP when looking at the top two cryptocurrencies by market cap from a high time frame, both seem to be forming bearish patterns despite the rising prices. Bitcoin's green 9 candlesticks on its daily chart and Ethereum's bear flag pattern paint a different story to the price action seen on the lower time frames. For this reason, it is imperative to take a precautionary approach when trading these digital assets. NBSP, if Bitcoin closes below $10,600, it would increase the odds for a further downturn towards $9,600. Meanwhile, if Ethereum slices below the $366 support level, it would likely drop towards $250. So as long as these cryptocurrencies are able to continue trading above these crucial support levels, the bullish outlook will likely prevail. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Cryptocurrencies price prediction: Bitcoin, Tron, and Uni. A European wrap September 18. http ntvforex.com. News ID 3B4B51 September 18, 1355 GMT. Top 3 price prediction: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple. Ethereum hits Bitcoin's bid to lead the market. The structural tension in the crypto market is increasing after yesterday's significant rise in Ethereum. NBSP: the fear of being left out FOMO of the launch of the Uni token by Uniswap triggered the perception of the value of the Ethereum network and consequently its interest in taking part in the project. NBSP: read more. Tron price analysis: TRX bulls to hit a brick wall at 3 cents. Tron's TRX is one of the best performing digital assets out of top 20 on Friday, September 18. The coin has gained nearly 9% on a day-to-day basis and partially recovered from the losses incurred during the previous week. At the time of writing, TRX is changing hands at $0.029, having recovered from the recent low of $0.025. The coin retreated from the 9th to 15th place in the global cryptocurrency rating, with the current market capitalization of $2 billion. An average daily trading volume settled at $2.8 billion in the last 24 hours, mostly in line with the recent week's figures. NBSP: read more. Uniswap Protocol's newly launched governance token, Uni takes on DeFi by storm. Uniswap is a protocol mainly for trading and automated liquidity facilitation on Ethereum. The platform is among the most popular decentralized finance DeFi projects in the cryptocurrency industry. Barely a month ago, Uniswap protocol was in the spotlight due to the drama that erupted with its fork SushiSwap, as previously reported. However, Uniswap managed to distance itself from the embattled Sushi token, which saw its value drop drastically from highs around $40 to $1. DeFi Pulse currently shows that Uniswap is leading among all the DeFi projects with $1.39 billion in locked funds. NBSP: read more. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Kyber Network Price Prediction: KNC could be on the verge of a 50% correction. http ntvforex.com. News ID 2C9B14 September 18, 1355 GMT. KNC is currently trading at $1.13 after a massive crash on September 3. The digital asset struggles to recover, but a recent buy signal could be the spark that bulls need. Kyber Network was trading as high as $2.04 on August 14 but plummeted to $1.04 just 22 days later, a 48% loss that clearly shows bears are in full control in the short and mid terms. KNC $12 hour chart: while almost everything is looking quite dull for KNC, a strong buy signal was created by the TD sequential indicator on the 12-hour chart. The MACD was on the verge of a bearish cross. However, the recent price action seems to be holding it. KNC holders distribution source sentiment: the buy signal is robust, thanks to an increase in KNC holders. According to the holders distribution chart provided by Sanbus, the number of holders with 1,000 KNC coins or more has increased over the past few days. Most notable, holders with at least 1 million KNC coins increased from 17 to 19. KNC IMAP chart source into the block: the next primary resistance cluster is found at $1.28, according to the IMAP chart. It seems that beyond this point, there are that many resistance levels. We can also see a resistance level in the form of a double top at $1.34, and then the 50 MA and 100 MAS will most likely act as resistance levels. NBSP KNC 12 US dollars hour chart bearish perspective. On the flip side, it also seems that KNC has been forming a head and shoulders pattern. A clear breakout of the $1 neckline would be devastating for KNC, and it could push the digital asset as low as 50 cents. Looking at the previous IMAP chart, the price of KNC is, in fact, at high risk of falling below $1 as there is not a lot of support, at least in comparison with the massive resistance above. Thus, investors must pay close attention to the $1 support and the $1.20 resistance level. Closing below or above this trading range will likely determine where Kyber Network's price is headed next. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD/JPY weekly forecast lower, perhaps for longer analysis. http://ntvforex.com News ID E7EA8B9182027 05:43 p.m. Yen gains 1.47% on the week, nears pandemic support line. Yoshihide Suga becomes Prime Minister replacing Shinzo Abe. PM promises to continue Abenomics, structural reform and deregulation prospects cheer yen. Dovish Fed extends zero rates to 2023, weakens dollar, BOJ stands pat. FX Street sentiment poll points to USD/JPY weakness. NBSP through the third quarter. The yen regained its ascendancy against the dollar, rising 1.7% on the week after stalling for most of the month, as Japan installed a new prime minister and the Federal Reserve stretched its zero-rate prediction to the end of 2023. Opening at 106.16 on Monday, the USD/JPY closed lower each session and by Friday was resting just above the 104.20 support line that marks the low since the March crisis plunge and recovery. Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga was elected the 99th Prime Minister of Japan by the Diet following the nearly 8-year rule of Shinzo Abe, Japan's longest-serving leader, who stepped down for health reasons. NBSP Mr. Suga pledged to continue Abe's efforts to improve the economy, the so-called three arrows of loose monetary policy and a weaker yen, fiscal spending, and structural and regulatory reform. Reviving the economy remains the top priority of the administration, Suga NBSP said in a news conference after becoming Prime Minister. The most notable economic success of Abe's tenure was the devaluation of the yen, something he saw as a first step to reviving the economy. Over 2 years, from February 2012 to January 2014, the yen lost almost 40% of its dollar value, falling from 76 to 105.40. NBSP. Japan's economy improved modestly under Abe's administration after years of stagnation, though there are many doubts that strong growth is possible with the nation's massive public debt and a rapidly aging and shrinking population. Yen weekly strength. Mr. Suga's arrival, which had been ordained for several weeks, may give the deregulatory and economic revival effort renewed vigor. Combined with the Fed's dovish extension of low rates until the end of 2023 in the September projection materials, NBSP and the Bank of Japan's inaction, it reinforced the downtrend in the USD/JPY that extends back to late March and the COVID-19 market panic. NBSP. A longer downtrend originated in January 2017 at 117.50 and its April 2018 low of 104.64 was only pierced twice before this week, in the March panic and then in a brief drop to 104.19 on July 31, which forms current support. Japan Statistics Summary September 14 – September 18 Japanese statistics were modestly better than expected, which may have given the yen an additional fill-up. Industrial production in July contracted 15.5% annually, less than the 16.1% forecast and June's 18.2% decline. It was, however, the 10th negative month in a row. NBSP on the month production rose 8.7%, stronger than the 8% estimate, after the 1.9% rise in June. Production has increased 10.6% in the last 2 months, about half of the 3-month decline of 22.4% to May. Yearly imports were 20.8% weaker in August, slightly over the 18% prediction, and though better than July's 22.3% drop, it extended the contraction to 16 straight months. Exports skidded 14.8% in August, under the 16.1% projection, and a substantial improvement from the declines of 19.2% and 26.2% in June and July, but the retreat lengthened to 21 months. NBSP: the contraction of Japan's once world-leading export sector has worsened considerably in the pandemic and its aftermath. In 2019, annual exports decreased an average of 5.5% per month. This year the decrease is 14.5% monthly, and the 6-month average from March is 20.4%. Thursday's Bank of Japan meeting kept its 0.1% base rate and the slightly improved economic description, to a severe state from a extremely severe state, suggested that no additional support measures will be forthcoming. NBSP: the BOJ has eased rate policy twice this year by increasing asset purchases and beginning a loan program for small companies damaged by the crisis. Overall and core national CPI was weaker than expected in August. Annual prices rose 0.2%, one-third of the 0.6% forecast, and down from July's 0.3% increase. In January the rate was 0.7%. Core prices dropped 0.1% on the year on a 0.4% prediction and July rate. In January the rate was 0.8%. U.S. Statistics Summary: September 14, September 18. American economic data was generally poorer than expected, weighing on the USD/JPY. Industrial production in August rose 0.4%, less than half the 1% forecast, though July was revised to 3.5% from 3%. Retail sales increased 0.6% in August, missing the 1% expectation, and the July figure was revised to 0.9% from 1.2%. NBSP: the GDP component control group fell 0.1%, much worse than the 0.5% forecast, and its July result was dropped to 0.9% from 1.4%. The Fed funds upper target was unchanged at 0.25% after the FOMC's Wednesday meeting. As noted above, the extension of current rates to the end of 2023 in the projection materials and Chairman Powell's wary assessment of the U.S. economy continued the Fed's overtly dovish policy stance. Initial jobless claims for the week of September 11 were 860,000, down from 893,000 prior. Continuing claims were 12.628 million, below the 13 million forecast and almost 1 million less than the previous week's 13.544 million. NBSP: the stubbornly high jobless figures are one of the chief cautionary notes for the U.S. recovery. Consumer sentiment in the Michigan survey was better than anticipated at 78.9 in September. 75 had been predicted, and it is now at its post-crisis high, though well below the February reading of 101. NBSP USD/JPY outlook: the combination of lackluster U.S. statistics, a visibly cautious Fed and a quiet BOJ, and a mild retreat of risk sentiment due to rising COVID-19 caseloads in Europe and only slowly withdrawing rates in the U.S. has reinforced the overall downtrend in the USD/JPY. NBSP: or to put it another way, there is nothing in the current markets to question or reverse the continuing and gathering move lower in the USD/JPY. The yen retains its safe haven status even if the current approach is gradual rather than panic-driven. Without a substantial improvement in U.S. statistics, the main economic variable, there is little reason for traders to change this view. At first blush the USD/JPY reversed at 104.20 on Friday, but support there is not strong as it represents a brief one-day low without sustained price action. NBSP: the March panic lows can be ignored as a guide to future sentiment. NBSP: prior support ranges from 100 to 105, but it stems from the second half of 2016 and is weakened by age. The NBSP area between 104.00 and 103.00 is largely barren of support. NBSP. It was only traded for 2 days at the height of the COVID panic, and price points from 4 years ago have scant relevance. NBSP. One caveat to the slide in USDJPY could come from the new Suga administration in Tokyo. NBSP. The Abe administration made its economic reputation on its successful devaluation of the yen, which it characterized as an irrational impediment to Japan's export-driven economy. The initial rise in USDJPY halted at about 105 and then ranged from there down to 101 from January 2014 to that September. NBSP. The new government will want to cripple its nascent export and economic policies with an ever more expensive yen. NBSP. Whether the BOJ has the financial firepower or the will to attempt an arrest of the strengthening yen is open to question. The same is true for NBSP. The NBSP impact of any supplemental budget NBSP forthcoming from Tokyo. NBSP. Japan statistics September 14th September 18th US statistics September 14th September 18th Japan statistics September 21st September 25th The Jibun Bank Manufacturing PMI for September will give the first look at the factory sector. NBSP. This secondary indicator has been under 50 and in contraction NBSP for 16 months, and little NBSP change is expected, and it will have no impact on markets. The All Industry Activity Index is for July and retrograde whatever its result. NBSP. U.S. statistics September 21st September 25th Existing home sales are 90% of the NBSP U.S. housing market, and they have rebounded sharply from the COVID closures. The NBSP July annualized rate of 5.86 million was the best since the declining days of the housing bubble in mid-2007. The NBSP surge of sales in June and July confirms that large swaths of the U.S. economy are healthy. Market's Purchasing Managers Indexes for September, manufacturing, services, and composite, are expected to be largely unchanged but a better than expected result. NBSP. Could NBSP provide modest support for the dollar? NBSP Chairman Powell will testify in the House on Wednesday at the Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Crisis on the Fed's pandemic response. While no new information NBSP is expected, Mr. Powell's comments always have potential market impact. NBSP Mr. Powell and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin will testify before the NBSP Senate Banking Committee on the topic of coronavirus relief on Thursday with the same market stipulation. Initial jobless claims have receded in immediate effect, but their continuing high level makes an unexpected drop would possibly provide a boost to the dollar. NBSP.USDJPY Technical Outlook. The relative strength index at 32.32 is just above oversold status, but given the fundamental picture and the lack of substantive support, it is not yet a reversal signal. NBSP. The moving averages are all resistance adjuncts, with the 21-day at 105.04 backing the NBSP line at 105.00, the 100-day at 106.75 and the NBSP 200-day at 107.74 are out of the NBSP current technical outlook and await a reversal in the USDJPY for relevance. NBSP given the range trading in August and September, resistance lines NBSP are more plentiful and of greater weight, with the 105.00 and 105.50 the NBSP most important in determining whether the USDJPY remains offered. Support at 104.20 is of recent vintage, but the lines below have a dual pedigree from the short-lived panic in March and from the second half of 2016, and they are duly weaker. The NBSP technical view favors continued downward movement with numerous and well-appointed resistance above, 2 active channels and limited and weak support lines. Resistance 104.75, 105.00, 105.50, 106.00, 106.40, support 104.20, 104.00, 103.00, 102 US dollars and 75 cents JPY sentiment poll. The uniformly bearish predictions of last week were fulfilled, with even the one-quarter forecast at 104.98 proving inadequate to the USD-JPY movement. NBSP this week's sentiment poll sees another attempt at the downside with at 104.08 forecast NBSP, but the longer outlooks predicts stasis. With forecasts at 105.06 in both the 1-month and the 1-quarter view, it is clear our expert consensus does not anticipate a trend reversal. NBSP. This coincides with NBSP, the fundamental picture where the U.S. economy has yet to generate a convincing rationale for dollar strength. NBSP USD JPY Forecast Poll. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Stocks fail to snap 2-week slide, tech war sinks risk appetite, Saudi threat unable to keep oil firm, gold higher on growing risks to outlook, Bitcoin sinks analysis. http://ntvforex.com. News ID 3CC6669182026 44 3 p.m. Today was mostly a relatively quiet quadruple witching that was saw bears prevent U.S. stocks from snapping its 2-week losing streak. NBSP. This morning GA's leading index and consumer confidence data legitimizes the economic recovery up until now but does little to offer optimism over the mounting risks. NBSP. The University of Michigan Confidence Report had better than expected readings on sentiment and current conditions but did note that the data indicated that the election has begun to have an impact on expectations about future economic prospects. NBSP. The leading index declined slightly, indicating the summer economic rebound has lost momentum. NBSP. Mega-cap tech stocks are dragging everyone down right now. NBSP. The outlook is foggy for big tech as the latest TikTok developments continues to add further strain to US-China trade relations and as Wall Street needs to start pricing in a blue wave in November that would trigger higher taxes and tougher regulations. NBSP. The U.S. Commerce Department decision to ban Chinese-owned TikTok and WeChat from U.S. app stores on Sunday is bad news for tech stocks. NBSP. TikTok has until November 12, after the election, to address Trump's national security concerns. NBSP. The US-China trade war is evolving into a tech war and that will make it very difficult to like risky assets going into November. NBSP. The afternoon stock market sell-off stemmed from concerns second wave of coronavirus in Europe is getting out of control and as investors grow skeptical over the outlook for big tech. NBSP. Europe seems poised for renewed lockdowns and technology stocks have too many uncertainties regarding the brewing US-China tech war and potentially tougher regulations and higher taxes that could come with a Biden presidency. NBSP. Oil crude prices shrugged off earlier oversupply concerns from Libya as energy traders chose to remember Saudi Arabian Energy Minister's very harsh words to OPEC cheaters and oil short sellers. NBSP. Saudis are showing they will defend oil prices, and no one wants to go against them. NBSP. Energy traders will wait to see if Libyan NBSP military commander Khalifa Haftar confirmation to lift block on oil exports will be accepted by the National Oil Co. NBSP. It seems unlikely that Libya will quickly be back to producing 1.1 million bpd. NBSP. A wild card for oil has been a very active hurricane season which has made forecasters run out of names for the second time in history. NBSP. With over 2 months left in hurricane season, crude production may see further disruptions in the Gulf. NBSP. The weekly Baker Hughes rig count report showed the U.S. oil rig count fell by 1 to 179. NBSP. WTI crude tumbled after the demand outlook for crude was dealt a major blow following France's reported daily virus update that showed new cases rose above 13,000, the most since lockdown. NBSP. The second wave is hitting Europe hard and it seems inevitable lockdowns are coming back. NBSP. The Saudis' verbal threats only hold water if the demand outlook remains constructive. NBSP. Gold prices popped higher after reports that Congress is close to a deal on government funding, prompting hopes that a fiscal stimulus might not be far away. NBSP. House Speaker Pelosi sparked some optimism that the pressure is growing on both sides to get another virus relief bill done. NBSP. Democrats are currently seeking a $2.2 trillion package, while the White House has noted support for $1.5 trillion deal. NBSP Gold is starting to look bullish again as the US-China tech war is seeing investors rotate out of the mega-cap tech stocks into cyclicals and safe havens. NBSP: the second wave of the virus is hitting Europe, and the current wait-and-see approach with all the European central banks will likely be short-lived. NBSP: lockdowns are coming back to Europe, and many US states are recording more infections on a weekly basis, and that will require both more fiscal and monetary support. NBSP Gold remains trapped in its tight trading range after bulls were disappointed that Fed was not dovish enough. NBSP: if the tech war risks continue to deteriorate and surging cases globally trigger renewed lockdowns, gold could quickly break back above the $2,000 level next week. NBSP Gold pared some of its gains as investors locked in profits following the stock market afternoon sell-off. NBSP Bitcoin is participating in today's broader stock market sell-off. NBSP risk aversion has reasserted itself, and no one wants to hold any major positions over this weekend. NBSP Bitcoin news has been quiet for the past couple weeks, but a deteriorating global economic outlook could be positive for cryptocurrencies as Wall Street raises expectations for policy and lawmakers NBSP to deliver further fiscal and monetary stimulus. NBSP: as coronavirus cases continue to rise in the US and Europe, fears of renewed lockdowns will bring back a key rationale for owning cryptos. NBSP: the simplistic belief that fiat currencies will grow worthless as central banks continue to print money and balloon their balance sheets will be accompanied with growing risks. Some central banks are closer to bringing interest rates to negative territory. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Gold weekly forecast: if XAU/USD breaks $1,974, then the trend could be back on analysis. http://ntvforex.com. News ID DB14669182025 12:32 p.m. Gold is trading over 0.5% higher on Friday and 0.75% higher on the week. This is a massive congestion area, but there are some key levels around. Gold 4-hour chart: the main levels to watch leading into next week. Gold has been consolidating heavily over the last month, and this week's Fed meeting did not inspire a breakout in either direction. Looking closer at the 4-hour chart below, the next main level of resistance is at the green resistance line at $1,973.54 per troy ounce. Beyond that, there is the $2,000 psychological level and purple line at $2,015.65 per ounce. A break of these key levels could lead to a test of the all-time highs. NBSP: on the downside, there is lots of traffic that could support the price. The orange trend line has been used on 3 occasions to great effect. Beyond that, the main consolidation low stands at $1,915.50 per ounce. The interesting thing about the price action is the fact that there is both lower highs and higher lows. There is no point analyzing the indicators, or they are both in the mid-zone. Overall, a break to the upside looks more likely at the moment, and the green resistance is the one to watch for next week. Fundamental backdrop: the U.S. Federal Reserve are still stalling with the U.S. election coming up. It is not a major surprise that the Fed did not make any major policy changes, but we did get some info from the U.S. Central Bank. The dot plot indicates that the FOMC members do not think rates will rise until 2023. This is longer than some analysts had been expecting, and the long end of the rates curve reacted as much. The market seemed like they were waiting for some information that never came. The Fed are still asking for more fiscal support from the government, and there were some outside calls that the Fed may act because of the lack of progress. NBSP: next week PMIs are back in focus. There are lots of central bank speakers and data points to look forward to next week. The main event will be the PMIs, as this will give investors an idea of the state of the global economy. As these numbers are from September, there could be some continued improvement, and last month's numbers were in expansionary territory. Fed Chair Powell is set to speak twice, and at any point we could get more of an indication of the central bank's Fed thoughts. Although it may not impact gold massively, the market will get the latest thoughts from the BO, who have been talking about implementing negative rates. NBSP Gold Forecast Poll. Looking at the forecast, in the short term pollsters believe that the price will drop, but then the quarterly view is that the price will break $2,018 per ounce again. So bearish in the short and medium term and back in line with the trend over the long term. Links to other gold-related articles. Gold politics to be a driver for the precious metal. ATDS NBSP Gold Price Analysis. XAU USD near strong support, eyeing $1,969 on the upside. A confluence detector. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Weekly Economic and Financial Commentary. First impressions are not always right. Analysis. http://ntvforex.com. News ID 32BFD5918-2024 43:43 p.m. First impressions are not always right. On the face of things, it was a disappointing week for economic data. Almost every report this week was on the wrong side of expectations. Relative to consensus estimates, gains fell short, losses were larger, and unemployment figures were worse. The details were generally more favorable. The retail sectors hurt most by the pandemic saw gains in August. Factory output is growing and soaring. Homebuilder confidence suggests soft construction data this week may be transitory. For details on the Fed meeting this week, see Interest Rate Watch on page 6. Global economy recovering from deep decline. The final verdict on the first half of 2020 came this week in the form of Q2 GDP for the G20 countries, which fell a record 6.9% quarter-over-quarter. Over the first of this year, G20 GDP fell 10.1%, more than 3 times the decline seen during the global financial crisis. China was the only key economy to grow in Q2, and those gains have extended into the third quarter. August industrial output firmed further, while retail sales showed their first annual increase since late last year. August employment also rose in Australia, while next week's September PMI surveys from the Eurozone and United Kingdom should garner attention. Download the full special commentary. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Midday market update. Nasdaq turns lower. Westport Fuel Systems shares surge. Analysis. http://ntvforex.com. News ID 356,479 18/20/24 38:06 p.m. Midway through trading Friday, the Dow traded down 0.11% to 27,872.20, while the Nasdaq fell 0.58% to 10,847.47. The S&P also fell, dropping 0.39% to 3,343.85. The U.S. has the highest number of coronavirus cases and deaths in the world, reporting a total of 6,676,410 cases with around 197,650 deaths. India confirmed a total of at least 5,214,670 confirmed cases and 84,370 deaths, while Brazil reported over 4,455,380 COVID-19 cases with 134,930 deaths. In total, there were at least 30,205,220 cases of COVID-19 worldwide with over 946,670 deaths, according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. Leading and lagging sectors. Financial shares climbed 0.6% on Friday. Meanwhile, top gainers in the sector included NBSP Live Oak Bank shares, Inc. NBSP LOB 7.77%, up 9%, and NBSP Ocwen Financial Corporation NBSP OCN 8.26%, up 8%. In trading on Friday, real estate shares tumbled 1.2%. Top headline U.S. consumer sentiment increase in September, with the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index climbing to 78.9 versus 74.1 in August. Economists were expecting a reading of 75.9 for September. Equities trading up. Cassava Sciences, Inc. NBSP SAVA 41.75%. NBSP shares shot up 35% to $9.54 following news of two insiders buying stock Thursday even for a total of about 225,000 shares. Shares of NBSP Bloom Energy Corporation NBSP B 20.82%. NBSP got a boost, shooting 19% to $17.25 after Morgan Stanley maintained an overweight rating and raised its price target from $21 to $23. Westport Fuel Systems Incorporated NBSP WPRT 34.02%. NBSP shares were also up, gaining 34% to $2.175 after the company announced its YK Westport joint venture received certification from the Ministry of Ecology and Environment of China for its 12-liter engine equipped with the HPDI 2.0 fuel system. Equities trading down. BioVi Incorporated NBSP BIVI 20%. NBSP shares tumbled 19% to $10.15 after the company reported the pricing of an underwritten public offering of 1,565,200 shares at $10 per share. Shares of NBSP Adamas Pharmaceuticals Corporation NBSP ADMP 10.11%. NBSP were down 11% to $0.7046 after the company announced pricing of offering of common stock at 62 cents per share. Isorai, Inc. NBSP ISR 18.81%. NBSP was down, falling 19% to $0.6316. Isorai reported a loss for the fourth quarter, while sales missed expectations. Commodities. In commodity news, oil traded up 0.7% to $41.27, while gold traded up 0.6% to $1,962. Silver traded up 0.2% Friday to $27.150, while copper rose 0.1% to $3.0725. Eurozone. European shares were lower today. The Eurozone STOXX 600 fell 0.5%, the Spanish IBEX index fell 2.1%, while Italy's FTSE MIB index dropped 1%. Meanwhile, the German DAX 30 declined 0.3%, French CAC 40 dropped 1.1% and London's FTSE 100 fell 0.4%. Retail sales in the UK climbed for the fourth consecutive month, rising 0.8% in August. German producer prices fell for the seventh straight month, declining 1.2% year-over-year in August. Economics. The current account deficit increased by 52.9% to $170.5 billion during the second quarter. The University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index climbed to 78.9 in September versus 74.1 in August. The index of leading economic indicators increased 1.2% for August, versus analysts' estimates for a 1.3% rise. The Baker Hughes North American Rig Count report for the recent week will be released at 1:00 p.m. ET. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Your USD Weekly Forecast. Central Bankers Get Off the Ring Analysis. http ntvforex.com. News ID C78F6E918 2023 36:27 p.m. The Federal Reserve disappointed investors by refraining from expanding QE. Tepid growth data suggest a long way ahead towards pre-pandemic levels. Your USD is ending a second consecutive week unchanged, but dollar bulls nowhere to be found. Another week is coming to an end, and the FX market seems unable to find its way. The Euro-USD pair is poised to finish it little changed around 1.1850, its comfort zone pretty much since September started. Several central banks had monetary policy meetings these days, the US Federal Reserve included, but were far from being shining stars. In fact, the impact of the pandemic on economies, and the uncertainty on what is to come in that front, have policymakers as clueless as speculators. Central bankers saving bullets. The US Federal Reserve revised its near-term economic outlook and now sees GDP down 3.7% this year, much better than the 6.5% drop forecasted NBSP in June. The unemployment rate is now seen at 7.6% from 9.3% previously. Yet, at the same time, policymakers pledged to keep rates near zero at least until 2023. The central bank added a year to its economic projections, with Chief Powell noting that this powerful forward guidance will provide support for the economy. Even further, the central bank indicated that the current levels of QE are appropriate. Economists were expecting the Fed to announce increased bond buying, but instead, the Fed said that more fiscal support is needed, rolling the ball into the Congress side of the court. And the Fed was not the only central bank that held back. Neither the BOJ nor the BOE introduced changes to their monetary policy, although the last one made some noise by mentioning negative rates. Still, and remembering the ECB's announcement a couple of weeks ago, NBSP and also RBA's low, it seems the subtle intention of central bankers these days is to keep currencies from appreciating, which may hurt the already battered economies. Within the pandemic context, central bankers have taken extraordinary measures. The crisis remains, and policymakers are reluctant to extend massive easing. It seems they are saving the last bullets NBSP should the ongoing tepid recovery suffers a setback. Tepid data fuels NBSP concerns. Macroeconomic figures released these days mostly indicate that, while progress is being made, economic activity remains well below pre-pandemic levels. To mention some of the most relevant numbers, European industrial production improved in July, but when compared to a year earlier, it was down 7.7%. The Union's inflation contracted 0.2% YoY in August. In the US, August retail sales posted a modest 0.6% advance, although the core reading printed at 0.1%, below the 0.5% expected. The focus next week will be on the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, who will testify before Congress. Given the recent central bank's meeting, it seems quite unlikely that his words could impact currencies. Also, market will publish the September preliminary estimates of its PMIs for the US and the EU. Market's expectations are of similar readings to August final ones. By the end of the week, the US Census Bureau will publish August durable goods orders, seen up in the month by 1.5%. Euro-USD technical outlook. The Euro-USD pair is ending a second consecutive week unchanged in the 1.184050 price zone. However, it posted yet another lower low of 1.1736 and a lower high at January 1900. In the weekly chart, the pair continues to develop far above all of its moving averages, with the 20 SMA maintaining its bullish slope above the larger ones. Technical indicators, in the meantime, stabilized well into positive ground, indicating that there is no interest on the greenback. In the daily chart, the pair retains its neutral stance. It keeps hovering around a directionless 20 DMA, while the larger ones keep heading north far below it. The momentum indicator turned marginally lower around its midline while the RSI indicator stands flat around 54. An immediate support level is 1.1790, followed by 1.1695, August monthly low. However, the greenback remains out of the market favor and a decline towards the latter seems unlikely. If it happens, strong buying interest will likely reappear around it. Resistances, on the other hand, come at January 1915 and January 2011, this year high. Euro-USD sentiment poll. According to the NBSP NTV Forex forecast poll, NBSP. The pair has reached an interim top. NBSP bears are a majority in the weekly and monthly views, with bulls taking the lead by little in the 3-month perspective. Anyway, and on average, the pair is seen holding around the current level. The overview chart, however, indicates that higher targets are now being considered, reflecting decreasing interest on the greenback. The weekly moving average is heading marginally lower, but the monthly and quarterly ones offer neutral to bullish slopes. NBSP. Interestingly, and despite the ECB put a virtual cap on January 20, most targets in the longer-term perspective accumulate around it, with higher possible objectives expected as time goes by. Related forecasts. AUD/USD weekly forecast upbeat data overshadowed by scared central bankers. GBP/USD weekly forecast Boris a Brexit climb down insufficient to keep pound afloat. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors.